with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run.
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good Saturday morning to everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett Pritchard and Randy Lee here with you till 9 o'clock on this Saturday morning as we roll into the month of August. And, Randy, good to see you this morning, and you know what August means. It's time for us to shift our 100% focus to football, and just a few weeks away now. Scrimmage games going on, some jamboree stuff going on around the state and high school. We're really 2 Fridays away now, actually less than 2 Fridays yesterday, being 2 weeks away from the official kickoff of the high school football season, although we know there'll be several games on Thursday night throughout the state, as there always are. And we'll have the Kickoff Classic down in Montgomery on our network starting on that Thursday with Chelsea and Helena. And then Hoover and Auburn will be on Friday, but that'll be the official kickoff around the state of Alabama. Everybody will pretty much be underway in week 0 of the high school football season. So it's exciting times. We're a few weeks away from the start of college football. So really from here until December, man, it'll just fly by.
Well, Saturdays are easy. When you come in and you're able to talk about games from Friday night and games from Thursday as well, and get you led into a great Saturday schedule of college football games, it makes our programming easy, and that's the reason that we put it on the time slot that we did at 7 in the morning on Saturday. So we hope that if you're just now finding us out there throughout the state of Alabama, that you'll continue to come and be with us from 7 to 9 on Saturday mornings, not only in the Lake Martin region, but throughout the state. Brett, I'm looking forward to a great high school football season.
No
I
doubt.
keep saying it, but I think it's worth saying again. When you got the crop of talent that the state of Alabama has this year, you need to get out and watch games and see some of these top prospects. We could have upwards of 30 4- or 5-star athletes here in the state of Alabama. We currently in the new, and we'll do a segment on the new top 10 here in the state in this first hour as 24/7 comes out with their new top 10. We have 7 5-stars here in the state of Alabama. Let that sink in with the minimal population that we've got. High school football is as good here in this state. I would say it's better here in this state than anywhere else in the country if you were to look at population bases that you have to pull athletes from. And that's saying a lot, and this may be the best crop of talent that we've seen.
Yeah, this is by far, from a ranking standpoint, the best since they've been ranking athletes with the services that we've seen. And you look at it from a standpoint of where some of our in-state schools lay compared to some of the ones out of state coming in, being able to get these players out of here. It's a little bit dejecting, especially for Auburn and some of these other schools. Alabama's going to get their share. Alabama's putting together maybe, again, another class that we hadn't seen maybe since the 08 class. That says something, because that Julio Jones class and that group really stands out to us, because we went and saw a lot of those guys, the DJ Flukers and all that, up close and personal. Drake Kirkpatrick, that was just you would think once in a lifetime class, but they're going to grab several out of the top 7 or 8 here in the state, and then they're going to looks to be a coup in Georgia. Really, right after Georgia wins a national championship, Alabama goes over and gets 3 of the top 4 in the state. So it's just almost like poking the bear. So no pun intended, that you go over there and Alabama still shows everybody that, they may have lost that game, but we're still on top, and Nick Saban didn't go anywhere. And I'll say this, look, and you and I, we talk about all the time on this program here. Nick Saban, 15 seasons at Alabama, 183 wins, 8 SEC championships, 6 national titles, 106 weeks at number 1, only 24 losses during that time, 39 first-round picks, 106 total draft picks, and 4 Heisman winners. 4 Heisman winners. They didn't have one until he got there. So they've got 4 in the last 15 years. I mean, we'll never see this run again in our lifetime of any coach and of any program. And, you know, Luke talks about it all the time, but, you know, we harken back to the days that you and I were sitting in Big B Barbecue where it used to be over on 280 to where it moved. And you look over and see what he's done in 15 years. I mean, you knew he was going to be successful, but, I mean, he ain't slowing down. I mean, this class he's about to pull in here, I mean, this is depth upon depth for the next 3 or 4 years.
Well, I told you this, and the Auburn faithful, and I don't blame them because I think and I at times wish the same thing, but every year we go, there's no way he's 70 years old. There's no way he can keep going. I mean, we're hopeful, you know that. Yeah, but I brought this up to you, and I'll bring it up to all of you out there. When you put together multiple top recruiting classes, and you're the one that walks into these homes to say top quarterbacks, top running backs in the country, and you look at them in the face, it's very hard to walk away. You know,
no, you're not going.
I can think we had a conversation on a high school basketball coach here recently that I think's doing a tremendous job, and all of our thoughts were, there's no way in the world he'd go anywhere right now. He's got too good of a team, and it's not ours here locally, by the way. But it was, you know, it was talking about somebody else that we were impressed with around the state, and we were like, gosh, I can't see him going anywhere with a team like that.
Sure.
And that's always been, you know, the 101 of high school coaching or college coaching is, what do I have? And if I get a little bit of a down year, maybe it's time to go on and go do something else. When is Nick Saban going to have a down year? Like, when is he going to come into a season and go, well, I've got the previous year's Heisman Trophy winner playing quarterback for me, and the consensus #1 football player on the defensive side of the ball playing a jack for me right now.
You just don't pack up and leave. You got
it's hard to leave. And I know that at a certain point in time, you know, I don't think he'll be 82 years old out there coaching, but he
could.
He looks pretty darn good, and I don't see him going anywhere. And there's nobody going to put a resume together like he's going to have when it's all said and done.
I mean, just look at the numbers, though. Again, I mean, when you sit down and really kind of just summarize it like this in what somebody's done in a 15-year time span, I mean, they've been at #1 for 106 weeks during that time frame. You know, the losses, he's got more first-rounders by far than he does losses at Alabama. I mean, that when you go in and present that to high school kids and their families, and then success breeds success over time and consistency. His job, he's made his own job easier. You know, that's one thing goes, well, you know, he gets all his talent, but the thing about it is that he's made life easier on himself. He had to build a program back up in the first 2 or 3 years, but once he got it rolling, that's the difference. And this is what I've said so many times about Auburn's program. When we get to a height, we don't know how to stay there. That's a problem. I ran into a good friend of ours last night, and Ben Leard, former quarterback at Auburn, and he and I were talking about, you know, that's one thing that we've said over time. Auburn can get there. We've seen it. We can get there from 2012 to 2013. So a program that can recover like Auburn's almost unheard of in the way we do it. But why can't we stay there? You've talked about it, the consistent 10-win seasons back-to-back. You know, just haven't had that happen very often in program history. And it's just kind of baffling that Auburn has to ride such a wave. It's almost like you get complacent. You get to the top, and that's the difference maker between Nick Saban and anybody else, even any other coach out there, is that he's not content to just win it. He's already thinking about next year and how he's going to try to rebuild, if you want to say rebuild, like he said this past week on that radio show. When you go 12-2 and that's a rebuilding year, things are going pretty good for you. But that's to me the difference.
And win a Heisman.
Yeah, you know, and win an SEC too. I mean, that's the thing. You go back and rebuild with such a crappy team like that. You know, it's almost unheard of. You'd have to run out there with a bunch of ragtags like he did last year and go 12-2. But nobody is built like him. And, you know, Luke has said it on our program, follows Alabama for us closer than anybody in the state of Alabama. And it's the truth. You're just not going to go out there and create. Even Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart may be driven to a point, but Kirby Smart's going to take a little bit of time off here and there because he wants to actually have a little bit of life to go do something. He may want to go stick his toe in the water somewhere. Nick Saban don't do that, man. He's robotic, and you don't find people like that very often. And that's why you're not going to outwork him. You're just not. You have to stay up 24 hours a day to outwork him, and still probably won't.
Well, I can't believe what I'm sitting here watching. But you've been pro.
Well,
but it is. It is.
Throw the numbers out there.
Well, it is to a point though where you've got to concede greatness. You know, at a certain point when
you're
stupid
if you just go, oh, there's a, you make yourself look dumb if you just don't look at the facts.
I agree, and the facts are strong, and this year's recruiting class for Alabama is going to be equally strong. And can Auburn?
Don't mean to mean you like it.
Well, no, I mean, but can Auburn, swing together a decent recruiting class? I think is where the topic of conversation will go in upcoming segments, and we'll talk about a few guys that we've been able to land here in the last few weeks, and Big Cat Weekend, and how successful was that this past Saturday, and what's the expectations with next year's class. And all of these things are important as we lead into a season where we're going to talk about that also. Hopeful that this is an above-average season, an 8 or 9 win season, and if you can get that and you can sell a product, you can sell a culture, not just talk a culture, actually sell a culture that you're showing is being built, maybe you can get some top guys.
Well, and I'm gonna say another thing. We're gonna get into high school for sure here in just a little bit, but to finish up this segment, in our conversation last night, it is very apparent, and we already knew this, and we've talked about it multiple times, but Auburn has internal power struggle issues. It's the only reason you pull your program down and you have these ebbs and flows. There's one guy, Alabama had them too until Nick Saban got there.
Oh, they had them as bad as anyone.
That's right. So when you get a guy that comes in there, and I saw that post this week for a quote from a book that Nick Saban was telling Mal Moore. He said, you hired. I just want you to know you hired yourself an asshole for a football coach. Now I'm gonna win, but he said you hired an asshole, and that's and he took everybody up there at Alabama and said, look, if you want me to do this, and you need to get out of my way, and just let me do it the way. And Auburn just hasn't been able to turn loose of the keys. There's too many people that want to have too much say in everything that goes on down there. It's the only answer to why Auburn can't stay at the top. It is because they can't concede that power. And so they can't just either give money or do whatever. Nick Saban's been able to align the power players at Alabama and just say, look, we appreciate your support, but this is my program. I'm going to run it the way I want to run it. And if you don't like it, you can just go on. And when you get to that point, and that shows you, because Auburn, why should Auburn ever struggle in recruiting in football, man? Seriously, where we are. Yeah, I'm not saying you're going to beat Alabama in recruiting, but how are you not able to go out? And for Malzahn's years, they didn't really struggle in recruiting. Just here of late, you've seen a situation where Auburn looks like they're struggling, and it's because of a lot of uncertainty. That's just part of it when you look at it. So, but we're just getting started here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. We appreciate everybody out there joining us again. JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, our corporate partners here on Saturday morning. Stay tuned. More coming right after this.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Let's stop for a second and congratulate one of our co-hosts, Scott Hardy, who's a new father to a baby boy that was born yesterday. And Hines Hardy is here with us now, so it's very, very excited for he and KK and their whole family. And I'll just say it because Scott would expect us to say it, somebody that we all raised. And Scott felt like we raised him. And he, I met Scott really for the first time when he came over as a student from Benjamin Russell High School to Central Alabama Community College and was part of the ambassador program. And Scott's been part of our program and really since day one in some form or fashion. So just proud for he and his family, and I know there's a lot of excitement right now.
You don't think his mama's happy, do you?
Nah, maybe just a
little bit happy, and it is great. 7 pounds, 12 ounces, 19.5 inches, very, very healthy boy. And also his grandfather will be another one of our co-hosts for many years, Jeff Hines. So we've got a little bit of
we've got a
little bit of
investment.
A feel of what's going on, but we're very proud for the family. And
his son was born on his daddy's birthday, so Scott's dad and now his son share the same birthday.
Oh man, that doesn't get any better. I didn't realize that.
That's right.
And he's carrying Charles's name.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, Charles Hines Hardy.
That's right.
So we'll have Scott back up here in the next few weeks, and I'm sure he can tell you all about it.
No doubt. I know he'll, at that point in time of 2 weeks of no sleep, he'll probably be ready to. And we all know Scott likes to sleep now. So that's something that he's always cherished. But a lot of us do too. We just don't get a lot of it. But anyway, I want to dive into to some high school football as we get started here in a week, really a week and a half. But this coming up Friday in Alex City for Benjamin Russell fans or anybody that's a fan of high school football that maybe you don't have your team in action, whatever. Madison Academy is coming to town. So Madison Academy is a 12-2 program. Went to the semifinals last year, Randy, and played Aniana and lost 28-24 to them. Of course, Aniana went right on to state championship game, got their doors blown off by Viger. But this Madison Academy team will bring a lot of talent in. They always do. It's a good test. The first half will be a varsity half of football. Both teams will run their varsity out there. And in the second half, it'll be JV. So the key thing for both programs is to go out there and have a good, good competition a week before the season starts and not get anybody hurt. and get out of it that way. But I'm excited about seeing that scrimmage next Friday. Coming off this past yesterday, was able to watch them scrimmage each other, an internal scrimmage yesterday. There was about 85 to 90 people up on the hill to watch that scrimmage. I was very impressed with the turnout from the public. So some excitement.
Well, I think there's a lot of buzz around the athletes that we're going to put out on the field this year, and they will be really good. I'm not going to sit up here and dummy this thing down, but I think there's also a lot of excitement with this new coaching staff led by head coach Smitty Grider. So I think that is important, that we have that scrimmage game next Friday night. Doesn't count, but you can learn. There's nuances for every coach. Any coach I was around, a game day environment brought a little different emotion for each one, and you had to learn how to deal with them too. Some coaches can stay even keel, kind of like they are throughout the week. They don't get too amped up. They don't get too jacked, and you can be semi-loose. And then there's other coaches that, man, their competition level goes up and their emotions rise. And, man, if you as much as squeak a noise comes out of your mouth, all hell breaks loose with that. And so you kind of got to get a sense and a feel of what a game day environment is going to be like. And so I think that will be very good. And we're not bringing any chumps into town. Madison Academy will be coached extremely well. They will have great athletes. They'll have great skill guys. They'll be big on the lines of scrimmage. They're sitting there in a population center in the state of Alabama up in Huntsville that is very easy to go out there and sell the product that they're selling. A lot like St. Paul's, UMS Wright, Trinity, and I can keep going down the list. Am I wrong, Brett?
No,
you got a great school with a great academic success rate, and it's an easy sell, and they sell it well, and they're really good in all sports, including the girls' sports that we've been impressed with over the years. So we hope that you come out and be a part of next Friday night and cheer on our kids and be a part of what we hope to have is a very successful season, and I think that it will be.
Yeah, just to kind of give everybody a perspective of Madison Academy, really been successful in the last decade, 2012, 13, and 14. They were 3-time state champions, and their program's been right there again. If you'll remember, like we just talked about last year, very, very successful 12-2 season. They lost the very first game to Briarwood, 41 to 17, and then they went out and they ran the table all the way down to the 4-point loss with Aniana in the semifinals. So,
and that's a 6A Briarwood playing a 4A Madison Academy.
Exactly.
Make sure to know that.
Exactly. And then, you say that, and that's a very good – we all know how good Briarwood is. We knew how good Helena was last year. Mm-hmm. And Helena ran the table and then floated down to UMS Wright the last game of the season. UMS Wright beat them 31-0. It just programs, man, and that just shows you UMS Wright, Madison Academy, Briarwood, these programs have a history. They're all 3 private schools, and it just shows you that Helena, we saw how good Helena was last year and how, they're basically a 7A school. Let's just be honest about it. I mean,
from an enrollment standpoint.
From an enrollment. They
yes.
squeaked into 6A one more time, but they went down and played a UMS Wright team, and Helena really was sticking it to everybody last year. We can go down and look at the scores. They hammered most everybody they played, and then they go down and get a dose of their own medicine right before the playoffs. And I think it affected them because they lost at home the first round to Baldwin County, and they lost a close one, but Baldwin County was the 4th seed in that region down there in Mobile, had to come up and play Helena because they won the region last year. So it's crazy.
Well, I think it's good to see a solid football team, like a well-coached. The thing I've always been – look, they've had Carryon Johnson, they've had Malik Miller, they've had Austin Troxell. Madison Academy has floated athletes out there over the years. They had Josh Langford in basketball that goes on to Michigan State. They have put athletes out there where you go, good gosh, he's pretty. I wish he was getting off our bus. But more times than not, it's what they do without those athletes that is impressive. And that's always been the impressive thing with Terry Curtis coach teams at UMS Wright. I never watched UMS Wright get off the bus and go, good gosh, we're about to get our heads, we're about to get our brains beat in today. Nobody ever says that, do they, Brett?
No.
But then they do. Most of the time they do, and it's because they do the simple things right. they coach it extremely well, and I think we'll see that next Friday night, and I think it's good for our kids to see that, and hopefully we play the same way.
Right. I kind of give a little background. 2018 they were 10-2. 2019 they were 5-6. So they fell off. That was Bob Gottze's first year at Madison Academy. So kind of a little shock mode there in 2019 to kind of go backwards a little bit. But then in 2020 got it back squared away at 10-1, and of course last year they went 12-2. So really just one odd down year in the last 5. So what they'll be bringing in here, and Coach Grider knows Coach Gotze pretty well, and he said they had a great conversation, and very excited to have those guys coming down here to play at our facility. And Madison Academy, again, this is another opportunity. We talk about it all the time on this program. Probably nobody involved with their program's ever been here to the Sportplex. So this will be an opportunity for them to go back to their home. This is a prestigious program in Madison Academy. They'll go home and say, man, we went down and played in y'all ain't going to believe what we went and played in.
Well, and it's our one facility here in Ellick City that we can really shine light to.
Absolutely.
And it's the one we want to show off. I'm not knocking some of the others, but when you travel around the state of Alabama, and I read an article last night where Coleman is putting together a new athletics complex to try to go after these tourism marketing dollars that are out there. Don Staley actually posted it, Brett.
Yeah, I saw it.
And,
You sent it over.
So there are some areas of this state like Albertville and Sand Mountain and that area that's got some complexes that you go to and you go, I don't know if y'all have seen this, but this is amazing.
Well, the word spreads because once you get groups from all over the state to come and participate in tournaments in these facilities, they go back to their communities and go, my gosh, man, it's either, okay, we got something comparable to that, or, man, we're way behind.
Well, this is the one facility, I know it's 30 years old, but it's the one that I hope we don't ever change.
Oh, no. You can't build this.
It's one that we can be very proud of, and I think that they'll show up and think the same.
Yeah, it's not a cut on these new football facilities that are being built, but these new stadiums, which are nice, they don't hold a candle to this. They're I don't want to say build it quick kit football facilities, but this facility we have is concrete and steel. It's a different deal. This is not, aluminum bleachers on both sides, and I know we have aluminum on our visitor side, but our visitor side's bigger than a lot of teams' home sides. So this is a stadium that the way it was designed and built architecturally, you couldn't really afford as a school. Most school systems couldn't afford to build a facility like that, pour that much money into just one football facility. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett Pritchard and Randy Lee here with you till 9 o'clock. We appreciate all of you out there joining us today. Again, our sponsors, JR's and Sunshine Heating and Air, couldn't do it without them. Look, had Sunshine Heating and Air out at my house this past week. Cliff does a phenomenal job. One of the drains of one of my units was stopped up. So, man, he came out there and was able to, get that thing unstopped and fix it. But just when you need them, they're there. I mean, you call them, and as busy as they are, they find a way to get to you and get you taken care of. So that's a really, really good phone number to have is Sunshine Heating and Air, especially this time of year in August when it's about 100 every single day.
He has definitely done the same for me multiple times. Kevin Kills is as good of a business owner as we have in our community, and that has got to be one of the toughest businesses to run because when somebody calls you, they're not calling you just to have a brief little conversation. Right. You think you can come out in the next 3 or 4 days. I mean, it's 93 in their house.
They want now.
They want now, and so it's got to be really hard to organize. And every chance I've ever had of dealing with him, it was done extremely well. So proud to know him.
Yeah, absolutely. Proud to have Sunshine Heating and Air as part of our program so long. The Auburn High School Tigers went 10-3 last year. Played a very tough schedule. Played IMG out of Florida the last game of the season. Ended up losing twice to Phoenix City. That was 2 of their 3 losses. The other one being the IMG game. But a lot of people felt like IMG'd come in there and blow their doors off. But Powell Gordon, who's at Auburn now, Auburn University, and then Braden Joyner and Braden Joyner really kind of emerged on the scene in that IMG game because he was blocking a top prospect from IMG and really pretty much dominated him all night. And so, again, you can look at games like that from a player standpoint and go, oh, here we go, we're playing them. Or you can say, look, this is my time to shine. I'm about to show everybody I'm on the level of anybody. And so it really garnered his ranking, and then he commits to Auburn University as well, which is, getting 2 big players out of Auburn High School for Auburn University is really kind of odd, to be honest, with the track record. But if you look at this team, the reason we're talking about Auburn High School, they'll play Hoover. And it's odd that you just, Hoover had a great season last year. Josh Niblett moves on to Gainesville, Georgia. Will be coaching over there now, so it'll be a new look for the Hoover Bucks. It's odd to look into the 24/7 top 20 rankings, and you see a boatload of Thompson players, a boatload of Phoenix City players, and a lot of these programs at the top, and you see no Hoover players. It's just, and Hoover has had their fair share of great players, don't get me wrong, but notoriously, Randy, they'll do that. They'll run a group of kids out there, a really good football team, but maybe you don't have an overload of just top-tier prospects like some of these other programs, and they get it done.
Coach Niblett, a few of those years that he won state championships, they had the Humphreys, and they had the talent that you pointed to, and you went, my gosh, they've got them. And then I do remember calling one state championship game with you, and they did not have one single guy that I go, man, he looks like a big-time Auburn or Alabama guy. But they won the state championship, if you remember that night.
Oh, I remember.
And
right.
They played so well on the defensive side of the ball, and they were so sound with what they did. And so I did leave out thinking that night, Hoover at times, they don't need the best talent to pull it off. And so we'll see if Coach Waldrop can do the same. He's going to have a very tough test against one of the top coached teams in the state. Keith Etheridge is, when you've talked high school football as long as Brett and I have, there are certain names that you say over and over and over again, and Keith Etheridge does it as well as anyone. He did it at Leeds High School. We were right there just starting our AHSA radio network when he was going on his Leeds run, where he won multiple state championships there. And every year if Leeds wasn't in a Super 6 or a Super 7, you were shocked. And a lot of that was because of what their coach did. And then he moves on to Pell City, then Oxford, and wins another state championship at Oxford. And then Auburn does yeoman's work and goes over and grabs Coach Etheridge. And he's going to build a winner there. And I really think that Auburn will win a state championship in the next few years. I think it'll come.
Well, they're definitely poised.
They've been knocking on the door. They just haven't knocked the door down yet.
And the Hoover Bucks, that you just mentioned, Coach Waldrop, new football coach at Hoover after 14 years of Josh Niblett. So Rush Probst and Josh Niblett, really that's all you and I have really known for the last 20-plus years for Hoover football. And then he leaves behind a 12-1 team that knocked Thompson off the last week of the season, 24-21, and then Thompson comes back in the third round of the playoffs, which is the semifinals for 7A, and beats them 35-10 to move on to that state title game. But, narrowly escaping Hewitt-Trussville last year, 24-23 in overtime. Had some really beat them in the regular season 34-10, but going on the road and playing North Gwinnett, Georgia, and Alpharetta, Georgia, and winning those two games very handily over two really good Georgia programs. This is a Hoover team, and it's instilled in this program. All they know how to do is win. So, there's a lot of pressure in taking over a job like this.
Oh, major.
I mean, massive amount of pressure. And, last week we kind of went over all the coaching changes in the state of Alabama. And I had to talk with our friend at Alabama Football Historical Society, their website, David Parker, and he and I were in a text thread back and forth this week, and I said something about the website, and he goes, I appreciate it, but he said, I think most people that cover high school football in the state, know who we are. And I said, well, believe it or not, David, I said, there's been about 3 or 4 this week when we've been kind of giving them some credence of where the information's coming from on some posts that we're making. They said, man, I didn't even know about that website. And it is hard to believe because we've promoted it so much. But I told him, I said, there's still a lot of people out there that don't realize you guys exist and have gone to your website in the last week and are blown away with the amount of information that you can come away with. But we were talking about, all the different programs and the different things that they put out there and how they keep that site so daggum up to date. And so where we go in all these coaching changes, he posts all those, and they have a team that puts all that together. And immediately, like Coach Rusall from here just took the job at Central Coosa. Well, the next day it was already changed. You think about all just from a schedule standpoint, all the high school football schedules in the state of Alabama and all the coaches, just those 2 categories of trying to keep that all up to date.
Well, I think a lot of people that do what we do know what that site is.
Right.
I think almost all of us know that. AHSFHS.org. I'm there probably
I think a lot
more.
of people.
But I think a lot of the the normal fan base in this state, they have no clue. And because I've had too many of them ask me, Randy, how in the world do you have all this historical knowledge about high school football in this state? I said, I don't. I mean, put this website address in your phone.
It's really the best one.
And you're more than welcome, pull it up and get all the information that you want. And no, I don't update their website. I don't have any part of their website, but I do probably use it as much as anyone out there. And yes, that's where we went last week to see all of these coaching changes. And Brett, the coaching changes are a big storyline to high school football this year. Because we've lost some major ones, some big-time programs like Coach Niblett. And can Hoover sustain, or can they pull the product back up to a championship caliber. It's not they haven't been a championship caliber. They just haven't won a state championship.
Well, you don't want to give an inch in that division,
No.
in that region. I mean, like you just saw, Hewitt-Trussville, they lost in overtime 24-23. And it was because Hewitt-Trussville went for 2 and didn't get it. They probably could have continued that game. Thompson and what they've done the last 5 to 6 years with Mark Freeman. Spain Park, Tuscaloosa County, Oak Mountain, Vestavia, that this is a brutal, and they had Chelsea in, and we'll talk about Chelsea Helena here in just a second. They'll start the Kickoff Classic in Montgomery on Thursday night. Man, that is a brutal region, and again with a new coach, a lot of pressure, a lot of competition. You don't want to take a step back, man, because it can slide out of control. It's like being on ice. You can't get any traction. All of a sudden, you find yourself on down the line a little bit if you don't keep things going. So, up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Hi, I'm Scott Blake.
I'm Angie Richardson, and we are the loan team here at Movement Mortgage.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've gone through the process before,
Our mission is to help you move forward with the purchase of your future plans. Call me at 256-397-2771.
or call me at 256-794-1003.
Scott Blake, NMLS number 527945. Angie Richardson, NMLS number 216556. Movement Mortgage supports equal housing opportunity, NMLS number 39179. For licensing information, please visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hey guys, this is Nate Paz with Airport Motors.
I'm Connor Branch with Fairway Auto Brokers in Opelika, Alabama.
And this is your first ever Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz.
That's right, Lake Martin. Airport Motors and Fairway Auto Brokers is teaming up for the very first Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz. Make sure to check out either website for the very best selection of pre-owned luxury trucks, SUVs, and sedans in East Alabama. Get pre-approved in minutes online and make sure to use the keyword Summer Blitz in the comments section for $500 off internet price. That's keyword Summer Blitz.
Castelluccio Fine Italian Dining in downtown Alexander City is rapidly becoming the region standard for Italian cuisine, as well as hand-cut filet mignon, fresh Gulf seafood, and the area's best Italian import wine selection. We offer true old-world charm with unmatched hospitality. Like Castelluccio Fine Dining on Facebook to keep up with daily lunch and dinner specials. Also new, we offer catering for your family and small business, so call and order. Castelluccio, downtown Alexander City, where the only thing that rivals the flavor is the dining experience.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air here in the first hour. Got a couple segments left, a quick segment here to try to get caught up.
Did you ever think that we would see teams separate themselves from the rest of the state as much as we have over the last 10 years in 7A? You know, now a really good 6A team, Brett, playing one of these top 7 or 8 7A teams, they get beat by 6 touchdowns. I know that was not the case 25 years ago. And I'd love to hear from you. It's not that I don't think that the talent 25 years ago wasn't equal to the talent today. I think they work a lot harder today than we did 25 years ago, and I think they've got more 7-on-7, and I think the passing game has really gone to a level that none of us could have perceived happening in the high school ranks, and a lot of that is because of the camps that they go through. But I think it's the coaching and the expectations of these programs, Brett, are so much higher than what you and I grew up paying attention to, and I don't think I would have ever seen it getting to this point. Because a good team in a lower classification, let's say a 5A team back in the day, playing a 6A team like a Damian Craig-led Blunt team playing against a 6A program, you would have never expected somebody to get beat by 40 or 50 points. Now a Pinson Valley-led Bo Nix team get their brains beat in by Hoover. I mean, as bad as they want to get them beat.
And we saw it firsthand. I mean, just think about Hewitt-Trussville right now. I mean, Hewitt-Trussville, any other region probably would have won 5 to 7 region championships in a row. Instead, they can't get past finishing third, and they put out Desalen Worsham and Amari Kelly and the running back that's at Auburn right now. I mean, they just keep rolling. And the running back that's at LSU right now. I mean, they just keep rolling talent out upon talent.
Amari Kelly at Auburn.
That's what I just said. Amari Kelly, Desalen Worsham, all those guys are, they just keep rolling top-tier players out, and they're close. They lose by a point in overtime. I mean, they just can't get over the hump, and they're finishing third in that region. So they're putting out a ton of talent, but then Thompson's putting out more than they are. I mean, it's just a brutal deal. And look, we talked about it last week. Helena and Chelsea will start the high school season off in Montgomery, the Kickoff Classic on Thursday night. We'll have that call on the HSA Radio Network. Tommy Wood and Caleb Brooks will be on the call for that game. Chelsea, though, man, Chelsea's a program last year. And again, Helena went 9-2, lost the last 2 games of the season to UMS Wright in Baldwin County, but won the region for the second time in 3 years. They won it in 2019, won it in 2021. They've only had 9 football seasons. They've only had 4 winning seasons, but you can see where that program's come in the last 4 years. It's really picked up steam. You look at Chelsea last year. Chelsea struggled. They were 4-7. And they got up. They had a chance to play some of those teams. They lost to Helena 27-14 early in the season. They lost to Oak Mountain 46-19, who will be a region opponent for them. Now they lost to Mountain Brook, who was another top-tier team. They lost to them 25-0. They're going to have to find a way to survive. Let's just be honest about it. Not saying Chelsea's growing. This is the young years of them growing into the highest classification of football and in the hardest region of football in the state. They're going to take their lumps this year, but it's about trying to build this program to be competitive with those teams because they're going to be there, man.
I don't think that this community is going backwards. I think they'll only continue to grow in population, which means enrollment numbers will continue to go up, and they'll have to invest. We've seen the votes come across in Chelsea on new facilities and upgrades on schools, and many that don't want the tax base to go up. I can understand why they don't want, but it's either keep up with the Joneses or fall way behind when you're in that competition with that region. And you look at the school facilities that you just reeled off. That Hewitt-Trussville facility, when they moved to a city system, boy, they poured money into that like nobody else outside of Thompson, who's also in that one. Go to that. There's not a small college in the state of Alabama that's equal to what Thompson High School's got.
No.
In 7A, in the 7A classification. Hoover's always had great facilities. Keep going down the list. So Chelsea will do that. They've got to improve their product on the football field, and I think that they're pushing towards it.
You look at their schedule, and, I mean, this is just reality. I mean, they open up with Helena. It was a team they lost to last year that's grown and gotten bigger. Calera, that's another team that we've seen really take a next step last couple of years. They lost to them last year, and then they got Tuscaloosa County, Oak Mountain, Thompson, Pelham, Vestavia, Spain Park, Hoover, and Hewitt-Trussville. I mean, who do you want to line up? Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and Florida?
What's that region?
I mean, that's just crazy to think of. And again, I know they know what's ahead of them, but that'll be something to watch. I'm excited to see Chelsea this year and see how they approach this because mentally, each week you got to be on top of your game, or you get your doors blown off. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Well, they've shown in baseball, kind of Thompson. I think where all of us got caught up with Thompson was their wrestling program.
Right.
And I remember telling you when Mark Freeman went there that if he does with that football program what they did in a short period of time with that wrestling program, which is the best in the state now, Vestavia may argue with me, but that Thompson program is the best in the state when it comes to wrestling, then they could have something special. And they had been the doormat of that region for so long that I don't think a lot of people expected that, but it didn't take him very long. So I'll say the same with Chelsea. The way that they've embraced baseball,
right,
they have to embrace football the same way, and if they don't, they'll continue to be the doormat. But the moment that they embrace it,
right,
the same as they have that baseball program, which is one of the top now in the state and led by a friend of both of ours and Michael Stallings, then they can get it here. I think that the community is primed to have a really good football team, but it'll take some buy-in.
Yeah, it'll take the buy-in, but again, passionate fan bases really are not going to sit back and allow a program just to get run over. And they understand the challenges ahead, and I think you made a great analogy with the baseball team up there and what Michael's done. Get on board and go with me, and we'll take this thing to new heights, and he has. So, up against another break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City, Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Fast, fresh, and friendly. That's the Allen Brew Market mission to our customers on the go. Allen Brew Markets of Talladega County fuel your vehicle and you with the best coffee, drinks, snacks, and food so you can get your day on the fast track. Allen Brew Markets are always convenient with Sylacauga locations on Main Avenue, Highway 280, and Old Birmingham Highway. Allen Brew Markets has everything for the family on the go, and we're always brewing up great specials. Fast, fresh, and friendly. Our guarantee to you.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Why is Sarah Automotive Group on Highway 280 in Sylacauga the place for the best deals on your new ride? 3 compelling reasons. 1. With 3 full new car dealers on one lot, you get the best in comparison and incentives on Fords, Hondas, and Nissans. Unmatched selection. 2. Sarah pays over market value for your trade to maintain East Central Alabama's best pre-owned vehicle selection and sales. And 3. The Sarah Automotive price won't be beat and delivers lower payments and huge value on your next buy. Shop online or on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Quick segment here as we head to the top of the hour and hour number 2 of the show. We'll close out high school, talk a little bit about our Wildcats. We've been up on the hill this week with practice as they get started in pads, and then they had a scrimmage yesterday. I was able to go up and watch a little bit of that, along with a ton of other people from the community, parents, and just general spectators want to come and get a first look. And thought the scrimmage went really well. It was extremely hot out there yesterday. Got that thing started at 5 o'clock. Went a little bit past 6, but saw some good things on both sides of the football, and also a lot of things to work on, obviously. But when you're looking at it from a scrimmage standpoint, and first real one-on-one contact as far as going at one another, I saw some good things on both sides, and that's what you want to see. I didn't see one side of football that was just so much more dominant than the other. Again, this time of year, you kind of want your defense to be ahead of your offense. You don't want to see your offense just gashing your defense. And but I thought it was an equal amount of good plays on both sides.
Yeah, I agree. Very impressed with Coach Grider and his staff, and the demeanor that they have, and how organized, and how much we're getting after one another up there on the hill. And I think that's going to bode well for the season. I think we'll play physical football. I think it's built into his DNA and the rest of those coaches, and you can tell that. It doesn't take long being up around a football team to decide if this group is going to be tough, or is this group going to be a little bit soft, or are they going to play a little bit like that. I don't see that at all. And the athleticism, you and I have really bragged on our basketball program for a long time, and it's hard to go up there and watch this football team and not think a lot of the same, because it's a lot of the same players.
Right.
When you're in a small 6A, one of the smallest public school 6A programs, if not the smallest public school 6A program in the state, you can't have athletes roaming the hall and plan to be competitive.
Right.
And they've got to play multiple sports. You don't have enough of them just, I'm going to be a basketball guy, or I'm going to be a baseball guy. I mean, you can have that, but you're not going to have a very good football team. And, the one really good thing we've got with football is all of our basketball guys are out there, and I can reel off some names that I think are going to have exceptionally good years. I'll start with our quarterback, and Gabe Benton, 6'3" or 6'4", 190 to 200 pounds, looks like he's in great shape, throws the football really well, an outstanding baseball player, maybe playing basketball this year, but a super player. He's got a receiving core. I don't want to brag on him too much, but if we've had a more talented group of athletes, I don't remember them. Corey Milliner's at the top of the list, very long. Corey had moments last year where it didn't matter if they doubled him. He caught plenty of balls. You're going to get sick and tired of hearing me talk positive things about Chris Foster, because I think he's going to be special. If you get Chris the ball in space.
He scored a couple times yesterday.
You get him the ball in space, and he may be the one that it's hard when you're the point guard and you've been a starting point guard in a school since the 8th grade to say that you're going to get overlooked, but he's got so many athletes around him that you may forget what kind of athlete he is. But, boy, he can make you look silly. My son likes to call it, he broke his ankles, Dad. He broke his ankles. And he breaks ankles on the football field. And so I'm a big fan of Chris Foster. Look, we're all excited to get Malcolm Simmons back to Ellick City. He looks different. He plays different. Thing I really like about Malcolm's, I think he's physical. You put him at safety, he wants to hit you.
He showed you yesterday right out of the gate.
And if that's the case, we already know what he can do with the ball in his hands. We're unfortunately, he moved over to Atlanta, had a great season last year over in Atlanta in multiple sports. Happy to have him back home. He's one that we've had around these parts for a long time, and we're glad that he's back. He's going to make a difference. He definitely is, but I think he's going to make a difference on both sides of the ball.
Oh, there's no question about
Not just the ball in his hands, and so I'm going to brag on him a lot.
Well, that was the first impact he made yesterday. It was right out of the gate. He started at safety, pass over the middle, and he comes up full speed from his position and just levels. I think it was David that he hit. But David pops right back up, tough kid, caught the ball, moved on. I mean, we got a physical mentality about us. But man, he came up and everybody, it was an explosion. It was one of those explosive hits. So there's no question about him as far as being a physical player.
We're going to have to be good on the offensive side of the ball. On the offensive line, I think Cooper Spears has got a chance to be very good there. He plays with a little edge that I like. I always bragged on our partner, Caleb Brooks, and his whole crew for a very long time. It wasn't that they were the biggest guys, but they played physical and they liked the game and they played it the right way. And when I watch Cooper, he does that. Caden Hyde's nice to have back with Savon Spradley and Jai Hicks at linebacker. Those three played a lot. That's going to be a good position for us this year. And I think the overall captain of the team that kind of holds all this together is Ty Williams. And Ty can play all over the field. So I know I left a lot out, but those are some players that if I sit here and reel off about 10 of them that I'm going to be proud to call with you over the next, hopefully a lot of weeks, those are the places that I'd start.
Almost every one of those kids you named logged times on both sides of the ball yesterday.
Yeah.
Corey had some practice in the secondary. Ty had some practice at receiver. Malcolm flipped back and forth. Chris Foster played some cornerback yesterday. I mean, all of those kids, Newt McKinney's played corner, he played receiver, caught passes. I mean, every one of those skill position guys getting trained on both sides of the ball.
Well, I think that, people get this crazy concept of what they think things were or what they have been. And the reality here in Ellick City, when we've been one of the smaller in our classification for most of the years that we've had to go play football, Coach Sav could dress 100, 110 players, but we didn't have it 25 that could play. And a whole bunch of us had to play, never come off field, never come off of special teams, never come off offensive, defensive side of the ball. At least 5 or 6 every year had to do that. And so, it's crazy where mouths run and how things get exaggerated on what things were. But that is what it is when you're in a smaller community like ours. And so I'm not surprised to hear that at all. And some weeks you're not going to have to worry about that. But then there's going to be other weeks where you're going to go, who we got to match up with that? Well, he's over there on the offensive side of the ball. Well, he better be figuring out how to get on the defensive side of the ball if y'all want to figure out how to beat them. And
no doubt.
So I'm just glad we've got some guys and a coaching staff that I think is going to put us in the right spot.
Got to get to a break, top of the hour. Stay tuned. When we come back, Luke Robinson will join us on the other side.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We'll go to the phone lines to start hour number 2. Welcome in Luke Robinson to talk a little bit about Alabama athletics. Luke, welcome in, brother.
How's it going, guys?
And it's Saturday morning and raring to go. Hey, and we'll uncharacteristically start. I know we're about to kick off the football season, but we'll start with basketball, you guys. I know you went over to the scrimmage last week. Just kind of give us your perception of what's going on.
Yeah, I still really hadn't gotten over the performance of Brandon Miller. This guy's a dude. 6'9", very fluid. He's not the biggest in terms of bulk that you've seen, but man, is he good. Hit 2 or 3 3-pointers. At least one of them was way beyond NBA range. And this isn't something like, oh, the big man has the green light to shoot, but we'd rather him not shoot. No, you want him to shoot. It was a thing of beauty. He had a Euro step. He had a fadeaway. He had dunk putbacks. He had a mid-range game. He blocked Darius Miles 2 out of 3 trips down the floor. Darius Miles, who could win a slam dunk contest. I mean, Darius Miles can fly. But Miles broke out, was going to dunk one home, and Brandon Miller blocked it with his wrist. And then the next time down, another steal for Darius Miles. The crowd, there was about 1,000 people there, I'd say. And the crowd was like, I hope Darius Miles pump fakes. But he didn't. And this one got swatted too. It was something special. He's going to be a problem. He's going to be a really, really good player. I think the one thing they like for him to do probably is be a little more assertive. That's hard to say for a guy who scored 30 points. But he's not a selfish guy. He looks to distribute, and it's not like he's always clamoring for the ball, and if he doesn't get the ball, he mopes and pouts. It wasn't anything like that. He's a very mature player. I was really, really impressed. I'll put it this way. I went with Brian Passing, and the two of us talked about it, and we both determined, hey, look, if this guy's in the top 10 pick in the next NBA draft, we'll be shocked at this point. I mean, that's Bassick has seen him play a few times. He's gone to a few practices. I just went to the open public practice, and I said, is this what he does every time? He said, this is what he does every time. He said, he's really, really good, and I'll be shocked if he's not a top 10 guy, maybe even higher than that. Noah Clowney, another freshman, he's kind of outside of Brandon Miller, like put Brandon Miller to the side. Clowney's probably been the best freshman, which is a little bit surprising to everybody. He's got a really nice game. He hit 2 threes to start the contest. And, again, another big guy, but he had some really nice rebounds, played good defense, like him a lot. He's got an offensive game. He plays really well on defense. Jaden Bradley is another freshman that came in, and I thought he was sort of like a mix of Terry Connor and, I don't know, somebody. He gave off Terry Connor vibes, which for those who don't remember Terry Connor, he was a really good player, but he wasn't the best athlete you ever saw. He was just Ronald Steele, that's who it was. Terry Connor and Ronald Steele sort of vibes right there. He wasn't a master of any particular thing, but he was good at everything he did. He did have a couple of really bad airball shots, but part of it is that he's still coming off an injury and just getting back in the flow of the game. And if you've ever had an injury, with your knee or your ankle in basketball, like every now and again it just sort of rears its ugly head while you're still recovering, and you just sort of shoot an airball out of nowhere. Let's see, Rylan Griffin, another freshman coming in from Texas. he did a lot more than I thought he was going to do. I thought he was just going to come in and be a shooter, which he showed. He's got three-point range. I mean, this team shoots a lot better than last year. Now, that's not exactly the highest praise in the world because last year's team was really bad when it comes to three-point shooting efficiency. This team's going to be a lot better. Griffin was good, but he also did some little things. He had some nice rebounds for a guy his size. He had a couple of putback points that were totally unexpected. Noah Gurley's really, really improved. I mean, this is a guy that I think most fans would say he disappointed to an extent last year, but, man, he really came into his own. He had some very nice post-up moves. And the one thing that I liked that he did, Alabama played a lot of bigger guys out there at one time, and whichever of the bigger guys had a much smaller guy on him, they would wait for that guy to get set up in the post and then just let him back his man all the way down in, and it scored just about every time. So it was really good knowledge of the game by the teams that were out there. The teams were pretty evenly divided, and it ended up being a really fun game. Now, one team ended up winning by 20 because they played 4 quarters, and it was tied in the third. And by the end of the fourth, the other team had just gotten so scorching hot that that they ended up winning by 20. Mark Sears was one of the ones that helped lead that. He a very compact point guard type. Nick Pringle. I didn't see a ton of him. I wanted to see more of him because he's such a leaper and an athlete. He's got some sort of Dante Hall about him. But his offensive game needs a lot of work, but he can really sky. Oh, man, I know I'm leaving some folks out. I don't want to, but it's been a week since I saw it. Of course, they're on their way to, or already there in France and Spain, getting ready for their tour, a lot like what Auburn's doing in Israel. As long as Auburn can continue playing, I mean, there's a rumor out there they may have to come back just because of all the fighting, not among the team, but in the countries. So, yeah, I was really, really excited about this team. I went from, hey, I'm kind of hoping we're going to be better. I feel like talent-wise we upgraded on paper, but I just don't know. And when I left that gym, I felt like, okay, we got some bona fide dudes. And if Brandon Miller plays the way I think he will play, he definitely could be freshman of the year in the SEC. There's no doubt in my mind.
Let's go a couple of minutes over on this segment. So while we've got Luke on, and Luke, let's stay with the same freshman. Talking points, move over to football. Give us an idea of the new incomers to this Alabama football team. Which ones of them actually make an impact here in year one?
Well, I think you'll see more from the transfers than necessarily the freshmen. And that's not meaning that the freshmen won't do something. I mean, a Jeremiah Alexander from Thompson could come in and play pretty well, certainly. But I think most everybody else is looking for contributions from Jahmyr Gibbs, Jermaine Burton, Tyler Harrell, Tyler Steen, those types of guys. All of those guys will get on the field early and often. I'm excited about it. It feels like Nick Saban's got a different attitude about this team than he does last year. You know, he stirred up a little bit of controversy saying last year was a rebuilding year. And they had me on a show in Montgomery to talk about it Wednesday, and they also, the Locked On team had me on a show that was national saying that was kind of a weird statement by Saban. When I said it's actually 100% true. It was a rebuilding year. I could just make the argument that he did his best coaching job, and it's all relative. You know, yes, you lose Mac Jones, you lose Najee Harris, you lose Devontae Smith, you lose Jalen Waddle and a bunch of great offensive linemen. I mean, how many teams are going to survive something like that the next year and even hope to make a New Year's Six Bowl? Well, the thing about Alabama that's a little different is they bring Bryce Young in, who's probably more talented than Mac Jones. He just didn't have the experience. And, of course, you have to supplant Najee Harris with Brandon Robinson, and Najee's obviously the better player, but Brandon Robinson got drafted. He's going to play something for the Washington Commanders. So the team didn't have quite the firepower that it had in 2020, and it showed in a couple of games, especially against Texas A&M and in the national championship game. But I feel like there will be some freshmen that will surprise us here. I'm not quite sure who they are, though. There might be a wide receiver that'll step up because that's the one place I'm truly interested in. Maybe one of these tight ends will come out of nowhere. Cameron Latu he might miss a game or two because he's hurt, but we don't know the extent of that injury yet, so maybe a tight end will step up. and there's always some kind of defender that comes out of nowhere. And if I had to put my money on somebody, I'd say Jeremiah Alexander, but that's just me picking one out of a hat.
Well, Luke, we got to run to break. Appreciate you giving an update on the 96 Bulls and the 85 Bears for us this morning. We'll go on ahead to break and just thank you for letting us know how Refrigerator Perry and all those guys have been doing. Man, anybody outside of an Alabama fan has thrown up all over themselves this morning.
Yeah, you know what, and that's all that we're trying to do is make you wake up and be ready for the day.
I know y'all been making
bring a little ray of sunshine.
Hey, y'all got a lot of rays. Y'all seem to harness all of them to your side, and nobody else gets any.
Well, it is kind of fun, Brett. We can't all be masters of elusiveness when it comes to mopeds.
That's right.
Sometimes you just get one guy who gets caught, right?
That's exactly right. I mean, if we could just only catch a break on some of that stuff. That's our headline, and then you talk about the 10 more 5-stars y'all signed. So we deal with mopeds, y'all deal with 5-stars. So, hey, we appreciate it, Luke. Thanks so much, brother. Have a good weekend.
Hey, Brett, I've told y'all for years you got to upgrade your player parking lot if you want to be any good.
Well, we couldn't get Cam Newton anything but a little motor, like a little scooter. He was on a scooter. I think what TJ Finley was on was an upgrade.
I'd be willing to bet Cam parked his at the church garage, though. We just don't know about it.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe so. Hey, maybe we need to start dabbling back in that again. So, hey, Luke, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
See you. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seatbelts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
Just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal. The encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. I know Luke will probably still be. I don't know. Guess we need to even play this year. I mean, football probably not, but anyway, for basketball, he's even got me concerned about that now after that description. But hey, no, but him going over and watching that scrimmage shows you that Nate Oates is, recruiting. He knows what he's got to do in this league, and they've taken strides that Alabama basketball hadn't taken in 20 years since he's been there.
I agree. I mean, they weren't very good in the post last year. You could watch and you could say you got to get yours inside the paint. And most teams did that were able to get to Alabama. And so most of what you just heard from Luke, though, is they're really trying to get bigger, play a little bit more physical down low, and those are probably good things for the Alabama faithful to hear.
No doubt about it. What Luke brought up about Auburn basketball may have to come home a little early. There is some unrest over there. Basically, there were some targets that were struck on the northern Gaza Strip on Friday. It was beginning Operation Breaking Dawn against the Islamic Jihad. The IDF alerted residents up to 80 kilometers from the Gaza Strip, including Tel Aviv, that there could be a risk of rocket fire. And that's Justin Hokanson, who covers Auburn religiously, giving a little bit of update on that. From that standpoint, it says basically an update said they shouldn't be in harm's way, but are within range of the population that's being told not to gather. So playing basketball games seems less than ideal. And these are quotes from Justin Hokanson on his Twitter. So again, it's just that region has had unrest for hundreds of years, and it continues. And it's sad because they've had a tremendous trip, a life-changing trip for all of those guys, all of them being baptized in the Jordan River yesterday. I can't imagine what that experience was like. Andy and I talked about it. Just a trip of a lifetime, and the things they've been able to experience culturally, and not to mention playing basketball. So they're scheduled to play again tomorrow and then on Monday before they head home. But let's hope they can do that. But more importantly, let's hope they can just get back safely. But that's the risk you take when you go to that region of the world. It just, unfortunately, that's part of it. And but we hope they make it back. The first game, the under-20 national team for Israel, not the best competition, let's be honest. Auburn never was really challenged in that game. But they got a big lead. Coach Pearl said, I wanted to see how this team reacted if they got sloppy and if they kept their intensity up, even though they had a big lead, and they did for the most part. But to me, Janai Broome really kind of stood out. I told you guys on a text thread, watching him, there was a lot of excitement getting his transfer in this year to this team. And Chance Westry really looked the part. He is going to be a phenomenal player for Auburn this year. These new faces coming in. Wendell Green has improved. I think you saw K.D. Johnson last year kind of fall off the map a little bit with his shooting. It was good to see him back, really shooting the ball well from outside. Just a lot of pieces in here. It was good to see Babatunde get a lot of quality minutes. He redshirted last year. A lot of people don't realize that because of the depth that Auburn had, so they chose to redshirt him. But Auburn's got the pieces all around, and this is going to be another exciting basketball team to watch.
I don't think that we'll worry from here on out as long as Bruce Pearl is there whether we're going to have the pieces to compete. He just sells it extremely well. You've got Jay Billis and the rest of that crew over there covering this trip. I mean, what more can you ask for from a marketing and recruiting standpoint to show? And, it has been something to watch on social media to see where they are today and where they've planning to go the follow-up days. And Alan Flanagan played well.
He did. And, that the thing is that hopefully, and Lord knows I've been the most critical of the whole group on him, he still showed a little flashes of being out of control at times, but not as much. Looked like he didn't throw up as many wild shots as we saw last year, maybe pressing a little bit on that team last year to kind of come off that Achilles injury and show that he was back. But his athleticism is eye-opening. When he's full speed, and his ability to get to the rim will create problems if he's in control. Johan Traore, really didn't even talk about him that much coming over in this class, and tremendous inside presence, can shoot the basketball really well. I mean, this team's got all the pieces. Again, like you said, from a standpoint of being able to shoot the perimeter to being able to drive to the basket and draw draw fouls to an inside game if you want to dump it into a guy and let him back his defender one-on-one to the goal. I mean, again, like you said, I don't think Auburn is ever going to be concerned as long as Bruce Pearl is there of getting top-ranked players. While they're in Israel, they get another top-ranked player in the country in this next year's class, one of the top point guards in the entire nation from California that'll be joining this class. So this guy just keeps doing what he does.
You went on a soliloquy about Nick Saban to start the program today.
I sure did.
And we as Auburn fans could say the same about Bruce Pearl. I mean, there's a certain point where you go, you better enjoy it. You know, getting this again at any program may not be. And both of these guys hopefully have a lot of time left for both of these programs because I think Auburn is just now, we've been to a Final Four, we've won SEC championships, but just last year and maybe the year before that where you had a sense that we're going to only sign top 100 guys. We're not going to have to go out there and hardly sign anybody that most of the best programs, the blue bloods of the world, won't. And so when we sign a 30th ranked prospect in the country, we won't even make a big – I mean, you went through – let's just think about where we are, Brett. You know, we just signed a guy that we've never signed as of 3 years ago.
Oh, of course.
We've never had anybody. And we just signed him, and you just went through 10 minutes before you even brought it up.
That's
No, I'm the point guard.
You talking about? Oh, yeah.
38.
Well, I couldn't get past the roster.
38th ranked prospect in the country.
In the country.
Yeah, we ain't signed hardly anybody like that ever
right.
in the history of the program.
And that's becoming a.
And now you go through 10 minutes before you bring it up. It's a miracle.
You don't have to brag, enforce accolades on a program when the rubber's hitting the road, and that's what Alabama football's done. And our good friend Justin sends me a text said no more Jack purchases on the horizon.
No.
And again, that's where this program was just a few short years ago to where it is now. And look, it took Bruce Pearl a full 3 years just to even turn the corner. It's how bad, but that's long in the past now. This is a perennial power. A perennial SEC power. It's always going to be at the top. That's beaten Kentucky as many times as Kentucky's beaten them in the last 5 years. Has Tennessee's number in this league.
Has Alabama's number.
That's right now, and hopefully for a long time. I mean, again, Bruce Pearl isn't going to be taking steps back to anybody. That's his mentality. That's Nick Saban's mentality in football. You know, people continue to come up and challenge Nick Saban, you know, Georgia, whatever. But nobody's going to take that seat from him. He's not going to allow that to happen. Bruce Pearl's not going to allow Auburn to fall way below any of those programs that I just talked about. And if anything, he expects to be the premier program in the SEC. That's where his mentality is. That's where his recruiting is. And that's why these kids are coming to play at Auburn. Let's just be honest about it. I mean, you look going back to Isaac Okoro, Chuma Okeke, Sharif Cooper, Jabari Smith, Walker Kessler, the influx of people that Auburn send the NBA. Now, I know Sharif Cooper. Now, there's things to be learned here. There's lessons to be learned. Sharif Cooper's learning he probably should have stayed another year. Okay, he just got cut by the Atlanta Hawks. Everybody thought, well, you know, there's probably not been more hype about a kid coming to Auburn than Sharif Cooper was. And then we didn't get a lot out of it. And I know COVID had a lot to do with it. He had to sit those first 11 games. There was all kind of junk, you know, involved in it, but we didn't really get a good feel. But the Isaac Okoras, who are going to be around for a long time in the NBA, if Chuma Okeke can ever get healthy, I think he'll be a major contributor for Orlando. Jabari Smith, I mean, he'll challenge to be Rookie of the Year this year. I mean, let's just be honest about it. That's what people are recognizing. Just like with Alabama in football, Alabama, when they go to a recruit's home, they don't have to say anything. Nick Saban can just put that graphic I showed you this morning on the table and go, you want to come be part of this or not? We want you, but if not, there's plenty of others that want to. And that's when you're in that position, you, like you say all the time, you hold the leverage. When you hold the leverage in anything in the business world or in sports or whatever, you're in control, and that's exactly what Bruce Pearl is right now in basketball.
You said it better than I could.
Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Now is the best time to sell your current home, as it's a seller's market, meaning that on average you can get up to 96% of your asking price. Who's the most aggressive and most experienced to help you sell your home?
Hi, I'm Rhonda Gaskins, broker Century 21 Lake Area Realty in the Lake Martin area. We are getting a 96% return on our listing price to sales price in this area. Call me today and let me go to work for you. 256-749-3644.
L&G Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill, Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple more segments left in today's show. Again, this time of year, it doesn't take long to run through 2 hours. A lot to talk about. Had some comments come in. Sorry about this, guys. I'm just now getting to them. I've kind of been slammed this morning. Anthony said, I think Stanhope might be in a similar boat like Chelsea in terms of scheduling and region teams being real contenders for state title. Stanhope has a 4-game home stretch against Russell County, Carver, Prattville, and Wetumpka in the middle of the season. Top that off with Pike Road a couple weeks later. That might be the toughest home schedule in 6A. I kind of, Anthony, I understand. I don't think they have near the road Chelsea does, but definitely a tough schedule there. But I would like Stanhope in several of those games. I think Stanhope can beat Russell County. I think they can beat Carver. I think they'll be very competitive with Prattville. I definitely think they can beat Wetumpka. This was a Stanhope team that we saw last year, Randy, that's very physical up front. You know they're going to be ready to play and up to the challenge. So I really, Anthony, don't see the comparison to them in Chelsea, but it is a tough schedule. And then they got to play Pike Road, and you know Pike Road's going to be, man, they got a ton of talent coming back.
They do, but I'm as impressed with what Stanhope has done over the last 5 years as just about anybody in the state. You know, I've seen Stanhope about my whole life.
Right.
And they're a roller coaster ride. They'll throw a lot of talent at you, but then you look down on their record 6-4.
Right.
And you're going, I think they're more talented than their record shows, but that's who they've always been. Not lately.
Right.
Lately, you look at their record, and it's a step above where they've normally been as a program, and I think they're consistent. Like, I think they've got a coaching staff that is bought into a physical philosophy that they're selling, and I think Stanhope's got big things in the future if they keep going the way that they are, because they always real athletes out there. That's one community. Millbrook, Alabama is going to always have great athletes. Some are going to have them year in and year out, and they're going to be physical on the lines of scrimmage and throw some skill guys at you that can score from just about anywhere. So, again, can't say enough good things about Stanhope and that staff.
No, can't at all. Kyle comes in and says, what kind of season you guys think Dable will have? I know they got into a new region, don't know much about them. Last year, Dable got back in the playoffs. Roger McDonald comes in and basically gets them back. They travel to Slocum and lose a pretty close game, 28-16 down there. I know Slocum scored one, I think, late to kind of pull away, but he did a pretty good job. It was kind of an ebb and flow. They hit a stretch right there in the middle of the season where they reeled off 4 consecutive wins. They lost to a good Reeltown team, 36-14. That was a region game last year. So you fast forward to this year and look at their schedule, and they are in a new region. They'll open up, Randy, with B.B. Comer at home. So
tough.
I mean, B.B. Comer last year, would they go 3 rounds deep in the playoffs?
Very well coached. Another program like Stanhope. B.B. Comer's come off of the floor to get where they are.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were a program since the mid-'90s where they had a beautiful stretch of football with Marcus Knight and Telly Embry and that crew. After that, I didn't hear about them for 20 years. And I've heard a lot about them over the last 5. Somebody's doing some great things over there coaching-wise.
Yeah, they open up with B.B. Comer, and then they've got Reeltown, which is not a region game anymore with this new region. They're in a region with it's a different look. Some of these teams are familiar, but a lot of new ones. Beulah, Childersburg, Randolph County, Sachs, Walter Welborn, and Weaver will be region opponents for
That's
Dable.
a good region.
It is a very good region for them. They'll end the season actually Wicksburg will come to Dable. So a lot of new teams on the schedule. They'll have to play Notasulga week 5, I believe, or actually week 6. That's a non-region game. Reeltown will be their other non-region game. But I think that's for what Roger McDonald, and again, you talk about athletes, Dable always has athletes.
They got them, buddy. They got them you want off the bus first. Every year I go over there and watch them playing basketball. I'm like, my God. Where do these guys come from? But their communities like that, and Dable happens to be one of them. Coach McDonald wants to play physical football. He wants to run the football. The question is, can they throw it around enough to beat teams that are their equal from an athleticism standpoint? And hopefully so, because I'd love to see. I think we're primed to see a good little run with a lot of local teams here in the next few years, and I'm hoping Dable's one of them.
Just to kind of give you an update before we go to break on that B.B. Comer team, you're talking about coming off the mat. This past year went 10-3. Went to the 3rd round of the playoffs, lost to Clark County 14-7. Started the year with a big loss, 35-0 to Catholic.
Well, they beat everybody like
exactly, but they turned around and beat Childersburg 40-0. Then lost week 3 to Lynette in a very close one, 26-21, and then it was wins all the way out to the 3rd round of the playoffs. So really just kind of ran roughshod over everybody. But the thing about it is they scored points. 50 against Lafayette, 55 against Ranburn, 63 against Winterburg, 40 against Horseshoe Bend, 58 against Fayetteville, 43 against Vincent, and 47 against Randolph County. Just really poured the points on, scored a lot of points last year. So this will be a talented team. This Dable team will have their hands full with B.B. Comer coming in week 1. But it should be a really good game to get things started off. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Brubaker Motors in Montgomery is the largest and fastest growing used car dealership in the River Region. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker. It's better at Brubaker.com.
Brubaker,
You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker.
BREWBAKER. BREWBAKER.com.
It's better at Brubaker.com.
For almost 10 years, there's been the go-to place for tires and automotive repair, Right Tire. Right Tire sells all makes of tires for anyone's vehicle and anyone's budget, and with Right Tire, you always get the right prompt service with the right price. Right Tire also can handle all of your bumper-to-bumper automotive needs with certified brake service, alignment, oil changes, tune-ups, and so much more. So when you want tires and automotive done right, see Right Tire on West Fort Williams in the heart of Sylacauga. Right work, right price, every time.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
Columbiana Tractor presents the world's largest deer expo, August 12th through 14th, BJCC. 11 hunt giveaways, the Turtle Man, the Aspirin Buster Frank Addington, Eddie Salter, Big Buck Contest, BHA Bow Competition, Cornhole Tournament, Trout Pond, and Barney Fife. WorldDeerExpo.com, August 12th through 14th, BJCC.
Become a member of the Superior family. Superior GMC Cadillac, Superior Hyundai, or Superior Automotive Pre-Owned. Between our 3 dealers in East Central Alabama, we offer the superior selection and service for any buyer's needs. All with the personal touch of being locally family-owned and operated. Check out any of our dealers online, or our 3 great lots in Anniston on Quintard, or our pre-owned superstore in Pell City, and join the Superior family of value.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. And sunshine, heating, and air. Again, high school football on the horizon. Excited about that. We want to flip back over and talk a little bit about Auburn. Fall camp started yesterday. Talked about the Big Cat weekend. Really not, and Jason Caldwell was on the other days, not the Big Cat weekend that was prior to COVID. This was more, and this is Brian Harson's first shot at a Big Cat. It was like Big Cat weekend in name only. This was more of a junior day rather than going out and inviting a select number of recruits to come in that you cater to and really kind of show off. I mean, there was hundreds of kids down there. Now, again, I'm not diminishing the day. They had a lot of fun. The kids did a lot of different fun activities, but this was more Auburn bringing in a bunch of really, really highly touted juniors. And a sprinkling of a few seniors coming in. It wasn't the Big Cat weekends that we've been used to.
Yeah, and I think that, if you look now, when these guys are signing or they're committing so much earlier than they have in years past that you got to get them in this junior. Like, that junior year is not what the senior year used to be.
No.
You need them to start committing here in the next few months for next year's class, or else you lose all the big guys. The big guys have already made the decisions, and they're wanting to get it over with. And you look at that top 10 group in next year's class from the state of Alabama, I think only 2 are left uncommitted, aren't they?
That's exactly right.
And that's the 2 guys over at Carver. The rest of them are committed.
Coy Rousseau and James Smith.
Yeah, so 8 of the 10 are already taken care of here in this state before the high school football season starts. That would have never been the case back in the day. Too many people enjoyed pulling the hat at the table and making the decision at the last second. So now schools, with the leverage, putting a lot of pressure on them to go ahead and let us know. Don't wait till the last second. That scholarship offer may not be there. So,
we can go ahead and talk about this a little bit, and I want to kind of preview this. And that's what we're doing. We're not coaches, so we can fast forward to week 5 or 6 in the season, setting up at the Sportplex to see 2 of the top players in the 24 class in the state of Alabama on the same field. Chilton County will have DeMarcus Riddick, who we saw last year, tremendous player. He's 6'2", about 205, 210. Linebacker. We saw him on the basketball court as well.
Man, he looks
for Austin. I mean, yeah, he's the number 2 player in the state in the 24 class. When Malcolm Simmons' profile gets switched back over to Alabama, he's still over in the Georgia profile because that's where he played last year. But when he gets officially moved to Alabama, according to 24/7's composite score, he'll come in at the number 6 or 7 player in the state, depending on how that shakes out. So there's a potential, and they'll probably have another update in recruiting rankings between now and that game. There's a chance you'll see 2 top 5 players in the state on the same field when Chilton County comes to the Sportplex on September 30th, I believe, without having the schedule in front of me. I believe it's September 30th. I mean, if you're a high school football fan, you get to see 2 of the top players in the 24 class going at one another.
And Riddick, man.
Man.
Gosh, basketball, able to watch us play them with the opportunity to go to the regional. It's a very good Chilton County basketball program that had the most wins in school history this past year. And Riddick was one of the main reasons.
Of course.
Gosh, you put him out there in that uniform. Sometimes you can tell how kids are naturally built up in football, but then you go to a basketball game with some of these linebackers that we've seen over the years, and Ragland was one, Nico Johnson was another that we saw coming out of Andalusia, and there's some others that I can remember as well. But you go, good gosh, how does a 16, 17-year-old look like that? And that's what that Riddick, when I saw him for Chilton County this past year. So he's a good player. Malcolm, I don't know where they got him ranked. We'll see how
he's 19 in the state of Georgia right now. He's 145 in the nation, so he's a top 150 24/7 player in the country. I mean that's elite. He's just a few hundredths of a point away from being a 5-star. So so is DeMarcus Riddick. Now Riddick is like 100th of a point away from being a 5-star. So next year's class is not going to be like this year's class in Alabama. It's got the top 10 is very talented, and Malcolm will settle somewhere between 4 and 8 in that range, depending on the reclassification and all that kind of stuff. But he is the number 1 ranked receiver in the state of Alabama. Malcolm Simmons.
Another player, if you'd like to come out and watch this year and follow the number 2 ranked player in this year's class, Christopher Vizina. The quarterback out of Briarwood moves up from, I think, the 7th or 8th ranked player in the state in the first ranking.
He was 7th.
All the way up to the 2nd. And
he must turn some heads this
6'4", 205 pounds. That's a Briarwood squad that we'll see on October the 14th, if memory serves me correct. And always a very well-coached team, sound, always good on the line of scrimmage, and they'll have the top quarterback in the state. If you're the second-ranked quarterback in the state and second-ranked prospect in this year's group, well, you can only imagine what you're going to see.
You know, and I get excited to see that kind of stuff,
man.
I mean, you know, we've seen Jameis Winston up close and personal. We saw Jeremy Johnson when he was one of the top-ranked quarterbacks out there. I mean, we've seen Jamarcus Russell play back in the day. I mean, these guys stand out. I mean, it's an honor to be able to watch some of these kids in high school because you know where they're headed. You know what's coming. I mean, you don't know what the future holds as far as injuries and all that is concerned, but you know there's a chance that Chris Vizina will eventually be playing on Sundays in the NFL. I mean, his build, he's going to a top-tier college program. It's going to give him a stage to perform on. He's going to the place where Trevor Lawrence played quarterback, where Deshaun Watson played quarterback. So look at those 2 guys and their careers moving forward outside of the massage stuff for Deshaun Watson. But Trevor Lawrence, anticipated to be the next up-and-coming quarterback in a slew of quarterbacks right now in the NFL. It's the most talented group of quarterbacks, young quarterbacks in the NFL I can ever remember. And then you got old man Tom Brady, who just turned 45, that you and I can attest to, is in our age bracket that just continues to just astound people what he's able to do.
But just great prospects, and glad to be covering high school football here in this state, because when you get a flow of prospects like we're able to have here in this state, and I keep saying this and I mean this, because, we bring up, Riddick over at Chilton County because they're close to us, and we bring up Malcolm Simmons here at Benjamin Russell. But I don't think our 3-stars are made like 3-stars are made in other parts. And so from what I see, and I think we got a handful of them. I'll bring up one that I think's special here in Elliott City that's got a chance to be a special college player is Corey Milner. Corey's probably, a 3-star?
Oh, yeah.
You come watch him on Friday and tell me he couldn't play.
Well, I watch him play against 4- and 5-stars in practice, and, he's more times than not getting the better of those guys. I mean, he's got all the physical and athletic ability that you want in a wide receiver or a DB. So, I mean, yeah, I think, and again, when you got a player that's ranked as high as Malcolm nationally, you're going to garner a lot of attention.
Eyeballs.
That helps everybody.
Oh, man.
That helps your whole program. Now, and again, ex-scout that may be coming to watch Malcolm, now his eye may be caught by somebody else, because of the way they perform in practice or the way they performed in that game. And now all of a sudden they garner an offer that they might not have gotten otherwise.
I get this question often, so I'll give the answer to it because I happen to know it very, very well. Derek Hall was committed to Tennessee Chattanooga. And we had an offensive lineman that was very good already over there playing in Alexander Booker. And UTC comes down to watch Derek play Prattville in the playoffs their senior season. And who happens to have a great game?
Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens. He gets an offer that night, whereas he didn't have any major offers that I knew of at that time. And now look, Terrell Owens.
Now he's an NFL Hall of Famer.
He's an NFL Hall of Famer. He's a top 5 on anybody's list, wide receiver all time in the NFL. And it happened because you had a great talent in Derek Hall with an eyeball on him. And
somebody else saw it.
You showed out because they happened to be there.
Never know when it's going to be your time.
So it is. But my point is it's very nice to have another talent with you that a lot of eyeballs are after, and then you can take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Ride that as much as you can. Up against the final break of the show. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? But make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. Very quick segment here. Only got about 50 seconds. So, again, want to thank everybody for joining us every Saturday. Want to thank JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air for being our two partners on this program. Want to thank all of our sponsors that you see at the bottom of the screen, especially Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, who is our main corporate partner on the HSA Radio Network, which will be coming to you in a couple weeks, man. We'll have the Kickoff Classic and the first scoreboard show coming up in a couple Fridays with JJ and Andy and Luke. Man, it's time to roll.
Stay tuned next Saturday. We're going to try to catch up with a lot of our high school coaches here in the area. It won't be Brett and myself talking quite as much. We're going to try to get 3 or 4 of our coaches to call in, especially in that first hour,
right,
and give us an update on what they think the season looks like coming up in the next couple of weeks. So it should be a lot of fun. So stay tuned in for that as we'll reach out and try to get some of those guys on the program with us next week.
Absolutely. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Saturday Sports Countdown. For Andy Lee, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next time.
When the Lake Martin area wants country, it turns to Kalijah Country. 97.5. Lake Martin's best country.
Goes like 1 margarita, 2 margarita, 3 margarita shot.
And if the house just keeps on winning, I got a wild card up my sleeve.
Now his grandpa's never died.
Lake Martin's best country is on Kalijah Country. 97.5.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Hi, John. You have messages.
Not now, phone. I'm driving.
You know you want to text your friends.
Texting and driving is illegal. No distractions, period. People die that way. Eating, putting on makeup.
Scroll through your music?
Nope.
Your girlfriend just texted. She's bored.
Sorry, not worth dying for.
Good call. She seems a little clingy.
Don't text your life goodbye. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Are you looking for something really good for lunch? Are you tired of the same old fast food? Well, go to Buck's. Get a meat and 2 sides or a meat and 3 sides for the best deal in town. Buck's always serves up the best food, including fried chicken, wings, hamburger steaks, catfish, shrimp, and yes, of course, the famous Buck Cheeseburger Basket. And Buck's has dinner specials too. So if it's your turn to cook dinner, Buck's will be glad to do it for you. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you.
Whoever you are, wherever you race, hit the track like a champion. The YZ250F and the YZ450F Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. Only from Yamaha.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Columbiana Tractor presents the world's largest deer expo, August 12th through 14th, BJCC. 11 hunt giveaways, the Turtle Man, the Aspirin Buster Frank Addington, Eddie Salter, Big Buck Contest, BHA Bow Competition, Cornhole Tournament, Trout Pond, and Barney Fife. WorldDeerExpo.com, August 12th through 14th, BJCC.